Hi guys, my name is Brooke and thank you for stopping by. I'm a homeschool mom of two girls. I have Ashley that's going to be in 8th grade this coming school year and Cameron is going to be a 7th grader. And this coming school year we're going to be doing Fun Fridays in our school year, in our school week. And so I really want to share all the fun things that we're going to be doing on those Fun Fridays. And so this is video number 1 of a series of videos that I'm going to be doing and sharing all of those ideas with you. So since it is number 1, I will just kind of briefly go over how did I come up with this Fun Friday idea. It actually started years and years ago because a lot of curriculums that I found when we first started homeschooling and still now, they really had their week set up on 4-day weeks. And so we had kind of an easy Fun Friday basically. And so I think that they set that up so homeschoolers can make doctor's appointments or go to art classes and do co-ops and that sort of thing. And that's awesome. Like, I just love that. And so we decided to go back to doing Fun Day Fridays, and we're super excited about that. So today's video is all about a review game, and it's great for family style. You can include your toddler all the way up to as old as you want to go, because it's you just make it work for whatever level your child is at. So you could have a little toddler and they get their little 10 points if you ask the question, what does a pig say? And they say oink, boink, you know, then they get their 10 points, so they're involved in the game. And then all the way up to your high schooler asking, you know, what's the process of meiosis? And then they get their 50 points or whatever they've earned. So it works for the whole family, and I think it'd be cool. Both my girls are pretty close in age, but I do think it'd be kind of cool to have, you know, older kids and younger kids, and the older kids can be encouraging those younger kids during the game, and maybe the younger kids are seeing how smart their older siblings are and how much they know, and maybe get them excited you know, for the years to come in school. So anyway, that is just kind of a little bit of a rundown of our game. So I'm going to go ahead and move the camera over, and so I can explain how to get this done. All right, so this is our board, and once you get the board made, you get to reuse it each week. So that's the first thing that makes it a simple for the homeschool parent. So basically I just took a poster board. This was a pretty standard size poster board. It's blue. I actually really like the color blue. I went there to get a foam board, and because I wanted it to be nice and stiff, but I ended up getting this because I didn't have any foam board, but I really like it. And I got envelopes, and I definitely got the purposefully, oh my goodness, how many adverbs can I come up with? I wanted the V at the front. I did not want the envelopes that go straight across, because I'm going to be I'm going to hold this up here for a sec. I'm going to be digging in here each day or each week, you know, getting things out of there. So I really like that, the V, and I like the looks of it as well. So that's your basic board, you guys. You just have a poster board, and I glued those envelopes on, and I kept the little flaps here just because I like the looks of it. And beyond that, how do you get the questions in for each level, each kid, and that sort of thing? So let's go over. So the first tip I had for you is to use subjects that you already have, note cards, memory cards, anything that came with the curriculum, or something that the kid's going to be doing throughout the school year that you can also use as in your Jeopardy game. So for example, we are going to be doing the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts, and so if you guys know, they have really awesome grammar cards. So I'm going to be utilizing those Good and the Beautiful grammar cards. They're already wrote out. What 2 things should you not do when connecting two independent clauses with a semicolon? And so of course you're going to have your littles that maybe doesn't know that stuff. They haven't done their grammar cards yet. So you would come up with maybe a phonics or a sight word or something like that, something out of their language arts program, and you're going to stick that in there for their age group. And then for your, I don't know, 5th grader or whoever's working on this, you would have that in there. So you could have up to, you know, if you have 5 students at 5 different levels, you could have essentially 5 cards in this Language Arts 15 envelope. It starts out 10 points, 15 points, 25, and 50. Those are just numbers that I chose, so you could obviously, you know, you could do thousands and get them really excited or whatever. So that's how, say on Thursday night is when I plan on setting it up. I'm not going through and coming up with review questions for each child, for each subject. I'm going to be utilizing those cards, those note cards. So thankfully I've got Language Arts cards that I can use, excuse me, for history. If you guys have not seen my history, holy cow, I think I forgot my little history timeline pieces. Okay, so I went and got my little history timeline cards. So I made up my history timeline, my U.S. history. You could print one off and laminate it, and you could utilize what you have already. Maybe you have a history game that has cards in it. We are doing U.S. history, and I made up my own timeline. So on one side I have dates, and on the other side I have the events. And so I'm just going to incorporate these into each one of our the envelopes here. Okay, and so when I did this, you guys, when I did this for my morning menu, and if you've seen my morning menu video, you've seen this, I knew that I was going to be using it also for my Jeopardy day. So these literally get used. It was a lot of work up front for me to do this, but they're going to be using them 3 days out of the week. So it was worth it to me to go ahead and do that, and I did laminate those. All right, so for the science, just as an example, so for Science 10, say it doesn't matter, for me, I put one thing in there, and it doesn't matter who picks that. So even if my first grader picks it, or even if my 8th grader picks it, I'm just saying hypothetically, I don't have a first grader, I'm going to say, okay, somebody, so-and-so wants Science for 10. Let's see what we got in here. Science for 10. This actually is a food web from The Good and the Beautiful, from their mammals unit. And so that's what they're going to do. They're going to, whoever picks it is going to get 10 points, and they will take these little chips out and they will put them in order. And so that's cool about The Good and the Beautiful is I've got the vocabulary words that they can play match, or they can do all different things with the vocabulary words. But I also have all these kind of little games that are throughout the science. So I decided that would be for all of them. And for the older ones, that's going to be kind of a give me, but I like that little activity. So say, so for Science 15, I've got I've got a first grader, a 5th grader, and an 8th grader. If my first grader picks the Science 15, what that little first grader gets to do is this little puzzle, which they've probably already done that week, so it should be pretty easy. So they'd get 15 points for doing that. Say my 5th grader chooses that. Oh my goodness. And that's why I got the ones with the V in front, just to make it easier. All right. So for my 5th grader, I've got 3 vocabulary words and I've got 3 definitions, and I would just have my 5th grader match those up. Okay, I feel like that's, you know, sufficient and a good exercise for their level. Say my 8th grader happened to pick that. I would say, what is a carnivore? And that 8th grader would have to tell me. Then I would say, what is an ecosystem? And they would have to tell me. And then I would say, what is an organism? And so, you know, just general, they wouldn't have to know the definitions word for word, but they would have to give me a pretty good definition. You know, I think that's a nice 8th grade level activity worth 15 points. So that's kind of how you would make it work for all different levels of kids. You would just stick the different levels in each envelope. All right, so say, for instance, say you did have your little first grader pick the Science 15. So they would do their Science 15. They would get their 15 points, and since they've already picked that, I would turn that over, and that would be that envelope, okay? So once they use it once, then they don't use it again. And so guess what? I still have those 3 vocab words and those 3 definitions in there that if I wanted, I could keep that in there and still use it next week, all right? What else? For the Good and Beautiful, they have really great geography cards, so that's what we're going to be using. Again, I'm using what note cards and memory cards we have. Just a sec. Okay, so something else that I kind of thought of that I thought would be a good idea. If it happens to be that, you know, maybe you're like, all right, instead of, I'm going to have my kids write out their Latin words for the year. I'm going to have my 8th grader do her Latin. I'm going to have my 5th grader write out her French vocabulary words. So this is what I would do, just a suggestion. Say you have your 8th grader use all pink, and so all her pink Latin words, you're able to, so say this was foreign language, doggone it, I wish I would have read that out. Pretend like this is foreign language. So I would put one of her Latin cards in there, and say my 5th grader, I'm going to assign her the yellow cards all year. So anything she does, she's going to be yellow. I would put that in there. And so depending on which one says that they want foreign language for 15, I would pick this up, all of these out of here. I would use this to cover it up so that they can't see the answer. And I would say, okay, what is, I can't even think of anything right now because I totally made this up on the fly. And hopefully they get it right. And so they get it right. We're going to set it over here because they already picked it this week. And then we're going to put this one right back in there. And that person, that little pink person, I think that's my 8th grader there. I can use that next week for her if I want. So it's in there. And okay, I'm trying to see out of the camera here, right? I look really orange today. So once all the ones that they've used, I'm going to have a little folder that I keep all that stuff in here. All right, so then I can kind of go over it and decide if I want to reuse it the next week or what. But if anything, I'll just be like, okay, I got to replace this, and I got to replace this, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we got some dead envelopes here. All right, these are things that they've already used. We're only picking one subject number per game. Okay, so once one kid picks it, then it's done. It's over with. All right. So let's move on to these little colored cards. What I'm using them for, obviously, of course, first of all, I'm hiding what's behind here so nobody knows what it is. I'm also using it to hide the cards when I bring it up here and I read it. Okay, so that's another use for it. I use it as a marker if it's a dead answer, a dead envelope. I don't know what I'm calling it that, but so I'll turn that around and it'll be blank and it'll show that it's there's nothing left there. And then the other thing that I'm using it for is, and that's what makes it really versatile here. So say we're like, all right, we are so sick of doing geography, like they're just over it, you know. And so I think, all right, we're not doing geography for a couple of weeks. We're gonna take these out. We're done, they got it, we're good. But we really need to work on some math, all right? So, woohoo, already got my math right here. Look how easy it is to change these subjects out. Nifty, nifty, Brooke. Man, I just thought of everything, didn't I? Just kidding, all right. So, there's your math. Math, what I think would be a really easy one to use because how many math flashcards do we have? You know, and if you have a little bitty one that's just learning numbers, then you just do numbers. Or are they at the addition subtraction phase? Use those flashcards. If we're at multiplication division, use those flashcards. If they're at algebra, pre-algebra stage, and you know, kind of past that flashcard phase, through the school year, say they're orange. So every time they learn a formula, have them write the formula here. They have to kind of use this as their little memory work. And then on Friday, you get to use these for your math. Ooh, I don't want to lose this. I'm about to lose it. There we go. I'm not going to set it up like this on our school day. But so that's their little math formulas down behind there. All right. Or you could do story problems for math. You know, if they're past those flashcards, but they haven't really started into that pre-algebra, algebra stage yet. Just make it work for your family. Another category, so any of these, you can make all kinds of categories. You could do current events, you could do, I don't know, you could just do all kinds of stuff, right? Another one that I really like to do, we have a lot of fun with, I'm just gonna say, all right, we're done with history for a while. So we are gonna do miscellaneous. Sky's the limit on miscellaneous. So when my girls, and we used to do this, they were in 3rd and 4th grade the first year, 4th and 5th grade the second year. Oh dear. So we just had a lot, this was one of the funnest categories, because I would say stuff like, what's Aunt Tammy's middle name? Or what's Grandma's phone number? Or look at the clock right now, tell me what time it is. You know, they'd have to, that would, you know, be like a 5.1. What's another one? What date did me and Dad get married? Or, you know, just silly things like that. And sometimes they would just be like, I can't believe I don't know that, you know, and so that would just kind of strike them. And that was just a really fun one. So a miscellaneous is definitely one that you could have a lot of fun with. And I know we have over the years. Okay, so I think I covered everything. I'm sorry I'm so orange. I tried to stay out of the view here, but so if you guys have any questions or comments or any ideas of how to make this better, please leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope this helps, and thanks so much for tuning in to video number 1 of, I would say, maybe 5. So thanks a lot, guys. Okay guys, I'm back. There was just a few things that I forgot to mention, so I'm going to tag this on right at the end. The first thing is our point system that we have. I did mention that I did call it Jeopardy a few times, and that's basically what we call it in our homeschool whenever we play it. In Jeopardy, whenever the contestants get the question wrong though, they take those points away, and I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not going to do that. You can totally do that, you know, whatever works for you guys, but I'm not going to take those points away. So whatever they earn is theirs till the end. And so the way we're going to reward our kiddos is these are actually, it's 10 cents, 15 cents, 25 cents, and 50 cents. So they are actually going to earn money for getting their questions right. So on that note, for my whole board, I did take that into consideration. And if they get every single question right on this board, it's going to cost me $4. So that's something to consider if you do want to do money. Think about how much money you are willing to fork out at the end of the day, because they're probably going to be pretty motivated, and they're probably going to hopefully do really great on this and get most of the answers correct. So just like Jeopardy, I think it's called the Daily Double, maybe not, but at the end of the game, I don't know if you guys can remember, I'm sure you can. So however much money the contestants have earned, they can wager up to that amount to earn on if they get the next question right. And so I am going to give my girls a chance to do that. We've done that before. They love doing that. Some weeks they were big risk takers and they would risk it all. And some they wouldn't risk any. So that's going to be totally up to them. So they'll have up to $2, or I guess maybe more. I don't know how that will all come out. That they can wager, and they will get money for getting questions right. So that's how we're going to reward them. Something else that I kind of felt like I did not explain very well was the giving different kids different color-coded cards for the entire year, and for the entire year for every subject. So say you have 4 kids and you're going to assign each one of them a different color. So, and say your 8th grader chooses math for 15, and she is your pink card. It's going to be really easy if you have them color coded to just grab that pink card and just immediately give her questions. So if they were all the same color, then you'd be kind of like reading them and trying to decide which one's hers. But just having that color coded, I think would make it really easy and really handy, and just even that much easier to keep track of. And so on that note, so in the neon index cards, there's 4 neon colors, and then there's the white. I've also seen pastel index cards. So there's usually, I'm assuming there would be 4 colors in there plus the white. So right there, you've got 9 different colors. You got 4 neon and 4 pastel and plus 1 white. So that's 9 kids that you could cover if you had that many. And if you have more than that, you could maybe hole punch some of them just to kind of differentiate, you know, from one kid to the other, but they'd still be the same color. Okay, so hopefully I did a little bit better job explaining that. So each kid would be assigned the same color no matter what subject. So whether your 8th grader is doing her math formulas, whoops, there it goes again, or whether she's writing out her own science vocab cards, she would always use that pink card, all right? And then all your other kiddos would stick with that same color as well. Okay, and so the last thing that I wanted to kind of bring up and kind of leads into my last thing is that the reason I wanted to do this video first was because I feel like a lot of us are gearing up. We're getting ready for that next school year. And as we're planning, you might be considering doing this on your Fun Fridays or maybe once a month or something. And so, you know, as you're planning how you're going to utilize the curriculum that you have, or maybe you haven't bought it yet, so you're kind of, you know, deciding between one or the other, you can kind of consider the Jeopardy game and how it kind of fits into the curriculum that you have. And kind of an example of that, and like maybe you could tweak the curriculum a little bit to make this a little bit easier, okay, is what I meant to say. So an example of that would be a couple years ago when my girls did Fix-It Grammar, they wrote all of their vocab words in the back of their notebook. And so if it was me and we were doing Fix-It Grammar this year, I would say, okay, girls, instead of actually writing them in the back of the notebook, you're actually going to write them on note cards. And Ashley, you're going to be pink, and Cameron, you're going to be orange. And so then there you go. You got a vocabulary category for your Jeopardy game. And so just kind of, I was just, you know, wanted to kind of bring that up, that's why I did this video first, that way you could be kind of considering that as you're planning your school year, and maybe tweak things just a little bit differently to make it easy on you, and ultimately make it a, you know, do this fun little game with your kids every once in a while. So okay, that's it. Please, again, if it was clear as mud, as usual for me, you know, ask any questions, please, and maybe I can explain it better in writing. I'm always a better writer than I am a talker. So I will do my best and answer any questions, comments. If you guys have any other ideas, please let me know. If you guys have any Fun Friday ideas, let me know those too, all right? So have a great day. Bye-bye.